Hey guys, what's going on? It's the year 2020, and I'm just getting around now, a few months later, even a year later, to finally making a kind of what I'm calling a super impossible Easter egg for Infinite Warfare Zombies and also the Treyarch Black Ops Aether universe zombies. And I'm calling it an impossible Easter egg because it reminds me of the what I call um, either an impossible Easter egg or almost just a huge coincidence. That for Shadows of Evil, there's a lot of different stuff that was found, but the one for me that sold it as an impossible Easter egg was the fact that referenced on the map was a poster that referenced a real life book that had a lot of the characters and a couple other things as Shadows of Evil did. Some of the characters, like I said, there was a magician, there was a lady whose name was Rose, I believe, and there's a reference to a rat and a rabbit, kind of like the neon light on the Ruby Rabbit blinks. It either says rat or it says rabbit. There's a couple other things, and I think even the person Rose was like a blonde lady. So again, this is stuff that I've known about, and I looked at the dates on some of my screenshots and stuff that I made back in March 2019. So it's going to be almost a year. So as you can see, and you can probably see where this is heading if you didn't figure it out yourself. If you pop in the Black Ops 2, if you're on Xbox, if not, you're going to have to get a PlayStation 3 and try it on PlayStation. The studio map was a multiplayer map, and a lot of the assets, and zombie players are not going to know this because most of them don't play multiplayer. And I, once again, want to remind people that I started playing multiplayer, Modern Warfare, uh, and then I would always go to the second modes when I got bored of multiplayer. So you can see the UFO at a certain angle stuck into the building, and you can kind of see some aliens, cutout of aliens in the bottom. So I'm going to show you a clip, and there's the UFO also from underneath, and you can kind of tell where this is probably going. So I ended up walking through the map, and this is stuff that I've already known about. I'm just basically reporting this so you guys can know. So it's not like I'm just like finding this out right now. It's been a while. I'm always busy, and I give a lot of credit to people that make videos and edit and use all those editing softwares and sound effects and special effects and graphics and all that. Because me, I just plug it into a computer and just use slides. So as you see on the fence, it looks like the UFO logo or the bottom, or it could be a film reel. And maybe back then, and this is something that people have pointed out, and I don't want to beat a dead horse. The amount of Easter eggs and double and triple meaning in the old games were so much different than they do now. I guess because of time constraints. So these are the three posters, four posters actually, posters of just make believe maps, and you're gonna remember this is like 2011 or 12. This game came out, and you'll see in the next slide, and I can probably cut this a little bit short, but the whole thing was just to point out those three maps back in 2012, and I guess when Lee Ross and Infinity Ward were going to make their zombies, that, you know, they wanted to bring some stuff in from the Treyarch universe, and back in March, that's all that I thought about was like, oh, that's pretty cool, they brought some stuff out, they kind of made it, it was just about these three posters, and they just wanted to kind of maybe give a backstory to those three posters, which I thought was cool. Really quickly, then I'll kind of move on. There's some stuff in here like on Western Town. People say maybe Buried was a movie also, and then there's a castle maybe that referenced the end of Premise or whatever, or the beginning of Premise, Origins and stuff like that. The scrap paper, here's a ghost not a ghost town, but an old western town. So in a way, I believe that it was probably just a reused asset, but now they decide to go back and give it a backstory. This, I was thinking maybe, hey, this is probably like the New York City um, zombie map. Maybe that's where that came about. Um, the pirate ship, I don't think anything ever came of that. There were talks of Black Ops 4, Blackout having a pirate theme, maybe got scrapped. Um, and I thought that would remind me of a mystery box that I thought was pretty cool. Or it could be an Easter egg. It could actually be one to say, hey, here's a set piece, let's say, for what we use for the original mystery box. Dinosaur stuff, I don't want to get into too many theories. I thought maybe a Gartha would have been used. I thought for sure in Black Ops 4, like most people, would have seen the real Agartha. I don't know if it's trademark, copyrighted. Some people would say that it is. And apparently there's real dinosaurs in the center of Agartha. I don't remember and don't know too much. And this is what I was talking about, reminded me about Origins, maybe Premise, maybe even Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. But there, you can see all around the map are posters for the original Zombie Master Infinite Warfare. So here is the Infinite Warfare UFO, taking that alongside what's coming up is all the posters and how they became the Infinite Warfare zombie posters. Beasts from Below became radioactive thing, mixed in with the Beasts from Beyond, split into those two maps. Space Monsters from the Moon became Zombies in Spaceland. Iron Shadow Killers became Shaolin Shuffle. And this is something back in March that I figured out, sent it to Lee Ross, and I think he ended up commenting or liking it or something like that, which I thought was pretty cool. And I'm always hesitant to put this stuff out there because I'm like, I don't want them to I don't want to ruin it. I want them to keep going with these storylines and stuff like that, to keep pulling in old storylines from the old games into the new ones and kind of expand on it. So you can always pause and go back. You can go play Studio if you want to go look at it yourself. And these you can also see in Infinite Warfare Zombies. There's similar cutouts. These look more like evil, cryptid aliens more than the friendly-looking aliens from Infinite Warfare Zombies. This looks more like a cryptid, again, in my opinion. Also, if you notice in Infinite Warfare Zombies, each time you change around, it's the same exact thing as this. I forget what these are called. Scene, clips, or something like that. I forget. That one was Dino Attack, which I thought for sure was going to maybe turn into a Gartha with dinosaurs. Showdown was Buried, Western Town. And then this now turns into the second part of the new stuff that I just kind of clicked in my head. And I think that's the one thing that I like about myself, just to kind of pat my own self on the back, which you probably should never do, is I like piecing stuff together, and I think I can piece stuff together better than most people. I don't know if it's just the imagination or what it is exactly. I don't want to sound too arrogant, but like I just kind of love trying to piece stuff together. I'll put it that way. So I'll let this play, and you can probably figure out where I'm going with this. Or if it didn't click with you back then, it's gonna click with you now.
This is it. The Aether. The infinite. The reality beyond. Beyond the world you know. Beyond your perception. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. You change the rules. There are certain things that you can't ever change. All I ask is that you do the right thing. The right thing for everyone.
Now, how I think that ties into everything, obviously, I'll play from the beginning one last time, um, and then I'll cut it off.
This is it. The Aether. The infinite.
So what I think it is, I think Infinite Warfare Zombies is one of Monty's infinite realities going by the name, and like I said, it was cleverly done, where Infinite Warfare, meaning space, and then in the zombies part of it, meaning the infinite possibilities, infinite realities, infinite multiverses. And what that means, if you're not familiar with it, is for every you that exists, that who's watching this or plays zombies or whatever, there's an infinite amount of possibilities of you existing in infinite amount of universes. Whereas instead of you watching it on a computer, you're watching it on a phone. Instead of a phone, maybe you're watching it, I don't know, at a movie theater, or maybe you're reading it in a newspaper. There's infinite amount of possibilities of you being a different you in a different universe. So how this all ties together is Infinite Warfare Zombies is one of the infinite possibilities of how Kino der Toten maybe came to be, or another version of Kino der Toten. And this is the stuff that amazes me, and why I give myself credit, is like all it took was maybe somebody to Google something. And I hate that, like, some people do it. I know there's good Easter egg solvers out there, and but just most people don't. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to just kind of solve it for yourself rather than waiting for somebody else to solve it? I think a lot of people are scared to be wrong, and for me, I'm like, well, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If not, whatever, you know. Maybe because I'm old, I don't really care what people think. But so William Wyler is who Willard Wyler is based off of, and if you read here, he is a German director, hinting at, you know, Kino der Toten, all the posters that are on Kino der Toten. I'm just gonna say Kino because I know I'm gonna keep messing up the name. So William Wyler is who Willard Wyler is based off of again. And Willard Wyler wrote all the movie posters, and that's why, and some of this is new, some of it is not, why it was Faust and Mephistopheles as the characters, because if you go to Kino der Toten, that's who were on the posters. And so if I think it's cleverly done, because for them to pick a real life German director, hinting at, hey, Kino was in Germany, it's a German movie theater, and again, there's multiple possibilities of Kino der Toten. The other real life Jimmy Zielinski, Kino der Toten, and maybe Jesse Snyder it was based off of Inglourious Basterds, the burnt out theater at the end of the movie, which you should really go see it. Even Tag der Toten, you know, the movie reel and stuff like that. And that's why Monty said there's, you know, infinite realities, infinite possibilities, or just calling it the infinite. And that's why it was called Infinite Warfare Zombies, which I thought was cleverly done. Like I said, I'm not gonna go over it with like a fine tooth comb. I just want people to go check stuff out for themselves. And what I thought was cool, and you will never know this, but it just kind of makes me wonder where Jesse and Jimmy were going to take zombies, and probably Brian Toohey and Kevin Sherwood, because I think they all had their hand in the storyline also. But it would be cool for Treyarch to kind of show that, like, Ultimus was just a cast. These were just photos of a cast members, and maybe the missing person was Willard Wyler, who was their director. You know, maybe the movie theater burnt down, Kino burnt down by an accident. Maybe it's just an electrical fire, no big deal. And maybe they used to have on the wall the actors plus their director, and it's kind of funny how it lined up perfect, almost perfectly. I'm not gonna lie and exaggerate of his portrait, almost looking like the blank portrait. And I think it's just something. And I even tweeted Lee Ross and Von Harm like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if when you remake Buried that you put the Infinite Warfare candy perks um in the Buried candy store underneath? I'm like, that would be really cool and a clever idea to show that people that they're both in the same ether multiverse or the infinite possibilities within the ether. Same thing with Ether and Black Ops. It's like either they escape, they're trapped in the circle. They escape, as you found out in Black Ops 4. Anyways, just a kind of thing that I hope that they put in there. Also, want to just kind of point out, it also Infinite Warfare Zombies always also took from Kino the Return of the Living Dead aspect, where if you don't know this, Kino had these aliens and these drums because it's the same exact drums that are in Return of the Living Dead. The humans were being almost same thing bred as zombies using 2,4,5 trioxin, which is the equivalent of 115 in that storyline, and how they brought it into both Ether and in Infinite Warfare Zombies is pretty cool, in my opinion. So I'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys later. I think that's the last one that I have. Oh, and then as an added bonus, Octonian Pit Stop was a big hint to kind of show that it was based in the Black Ops universe, specifically Black Ops 2. I know there is a studio was a remake, but just kind of hinting at Black Ops. This is nothing new to some people. I've seen stuff on when I googled. I've seen that people noticed that it said Ops. So, but I just want to point out that it should have been a hint to people. And anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys later.